Welcome to a Force 13 special live update this evening from Force 13 HQ and beyond. My name is Nathan Foy, and we have several other people on our panel, so-called, this evening, and we'll be discussing whatever the top stories are, I suppose, and I guess that would be the earthquake that happened earlier today in Nepal, which we believe has killed possibly well over 1,000, and some reporting as many as hundreds of thousands injured. We'll try and get the latest news for you as quickly as we can, and indeed show you some media along those lines as well. Also, we're watching the severe weather as it may occur in the United States in the next few hours in particular. We had some tornado warnings earlier today, though there have been no confirmed touchdowns today after I think there were 8 yesterday or something like that. Let's introduce our fellow correspondents then. Daniel Hudson is with us this evening. Hello.
Hello.
Yanel joins us as well. Hi. Can you hear me? We also have Jason as well, who also joins us this evening. Now, where's this feedback coming from first? Because I can hear myself talking in the background. I can hear myself. That's very off-putting. What is that?
Is that you now?
Quite possibly. I am not sure. Anyway, I'll tell you the latest updates on the Nepal earthquake. There's been significant amounts of damage. I think that's pretty well publicized by now. We believe that anywhere between 1,200 and possibly 1,800 people have lost their lives in Nepal already. Certainly hundreds, possibly more than that. Details, of course, as is always the case after such disasters, are always sketchy to begin with. We'll gain more information as time goes on. But yes, it's probably going to be more than 1,000 at this point. And indeed, many others injured as well. Lots of collapsed buildings. Indeed, some landmarks in the capital, Kathmandu, have been destroyed, and indeed at Mount Everest base camp there have been some avalanches which I believe have killed 10 people there as well. So it's a pretty bad disaster unfolding at this point, and there is possibly I think there's nearly 30 aftershocks that have occurred now as well. We also have Philip that has joined us late. Hello.
Hey.
Now, we've got to talk to you about this because you're in a severe thunderstorm watch area at the moment, aren't you?
Yep.
In Louisiana, not far from New Orleans.
Not far at all.
Yeah, and there's a severe thunderstorm warning in effect for the Mobile area in Alabama, extending just about into Mississippi as well. So how's the weather been there?
It's been off and on, but just like right now, it's not even raining out.
Oh, we've lost his volume. For a minute there, Philip. You were saying it was raining on and off, yeah?
Yeah.
Anything significant, or is it just an average day over there? See, I don't know so much about these things, you see.
Well, lately it's been a little more than it usually has been, like, because normally we'd get these things, we call them summer afternoon showers here, where like every summer every day there'd be a shower in the afternoon.
It's not summer yet.
It's
not summer yet, I was saying.
Oh, well, it feels like it.
Ah, fair enough. We did have Nick on them for a moment, but it appears he's left us again, so that was a lot of fun. Daniel, what's going on there?
Not much at the moment. You know the recent Chicago tornado. Would you like me to find some video footage of that?
Was the one in Chicago? There was some around that.
Or Illinois, or
there's some in Illinois around April the 10th, weren't there?
Would you like me to find any footage of that? Or
well, if you wish. Jason, I noticed that he had some very interesting earthquake videos not so long ago. You could see a swimming pool in Nepal, which was just the water was going all over the place. It must have been pretty terrifying all around there. The magnitude, those of you who do not know, was 7.8 or 7.9, somewhere around there. Very strong earthquake. And of course, it's in a land area, so there's probably going to be no tsunami threat, but it has been felt as far away as I think New Delhi in India, as well as China and possibly Bangladesh as well. And indeed, I think outside of Nepal, there have been, I think, around 20 fatalities or somewhere around there. So goodness knows what the situation is in parts of Nepal itself, because I'm sure we haven't heard all the information possible yet, because I think there are communications breakages, perhaps power outages, I do not know. But obviously a grave situation in Nepal. We believe more than 1,000 have been killed. The US, I believe, has sent an initial $1 million of humanitarian assistance. The UK is sending 8 humanitarian experts overnight to Nepal as well, who will be assessing the situation and helping local authorities there in the morning. And I'm sure other countries are taking part in that as well. There's been lots of news coming in throughout the day. Is there anything that anyone else would like to add at this stage?
I found that it's footage, but I'm not really sure if this is an appropriate time to show it.
There's one view from Jason's screen there showing quite difficult to exactly see, but things rocking about. But that swimming pool footage, I'm not sure if he's shown it yet because I've not been looking, but that one was quite
yeah,
quite amazing.
That's an old video.
Is it?
The one that's shown right now. That's from the Mexico City one a couple years back.
Oh, well, there you go. Some people do like to recycle videos, don't they? And pretend
Trolls.
Yeah, the latest news.
Still pretty terrifying, though, isn't it?
Well, yeah, of course, regardless. I'm not sure what Jason thinks of that. Oh, I need to show that as well. That's the shake map there from the USGS. So, Kathmandu, is that the little area towards the bottom there? Yes. That looks like a red zone to me, doesn't it? So towards the violent, towards the extreme categories. The epicenter appears to have been towards the northwest or west-northwest. In between Kathmandu and, is it Pokhara? I can't quite make out the lettering. I think it's a P. So that whole area has experienced significant conditions. Further south as well, extending into India, has received instrumental intensity category, what's that, 6 to 5 further south as well, so strong in those areas as well in India, not far from Burganj, just over the border in Nepal there. I don't know how long we'll be on air this evening, as long as we have news, I suppose. And to recap that news, if you've just joined us, in Nepal, over possibly, quite probably actually, 1,000 fatalities reported in Nepal, and I believe several others reported outside of the area as well. I think actually I have possibly news on how Bangladesh saw it as well. Oh, there's all the aftershocks shown on Jason's screen there. The one highlighted in blue was the initial shock. It happened at around 6:11 a.m. UTC, which I think was around lunchtime over in Nepal. And there have been 27 aftershocks since then, ranging from magnitude 4 to magnitude 5 point something or other. So there have been several aftershocks as a result of that.
Does Nepal get a lot of earthquakes? Is it an earthquake-prone zone?
Of size, no, of course, but they're not unheard of. 80 years ago, they had another very strong earthquake, which I believe killed 8,000 in 1934, I think it was, magnitude 8.4. So no stranger to it, but it is a fairly rare occurrence to see such a large magnitude earthquake, but it does happen. Philip, any news on the storms? Are you tracking it at all? It's a bit quiet at the moment, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. I have a video here if you want me to show it.
Sure, go ahead.
Alright, let me get to the thing where it shows the screen here, screen share.
Yes.
There we go.
Oh, yes. We've got the endless hall of hangouts. Jason also showing us what's going on with the closest locations: 21 miles from Lanjung in Nepal, 36 miles from Bharatpur, 45 from Pokhara, 47 from Kirtipur, and 48 miles northwest of Kathmandu. So that was a magnitude 7.8 according to the US Geological Survey, and that occurred at 6:11 a.m. UTC, which I think is it 6 hours difference over there. Oh, sorry, Philip.
It's alright.
Now that's
It's
quite a storm there.
A little bit. You know it's bad when like I always go by when you go right around with if you notice right around here the drain. If there's water like piled up on the side of the street, that's when you know it's a little worse. But
yeah. It looks very wet, but doesn't look awfully windy.
When I was taking this video, it wasn't windy at the moment, but I have another video where I went like out in the street, well, yeah, it actually is windy when you look at the rain there, just going on by.
Possibly.
Was there any hail?
No, not in this one.
Alright.
There was hail last Sunday, I think it was.
Yeah.
Okay. What's Jason showing us right now? Because I can't actually see what he is showing us. I'm sure he's showing us something because the screen share button's on. Hopefully you guys can see whatever he's displaying. I don't know whether it's anything or not because I've no idea.
I can't see anything at the moment.
Yeah. Oh, there it is.
Yes. Oh, yes, there we are. There's a satellite image showing where the epicenter of the storm is and what the weather's been in Nepal recently. I think that's cloud cover over the area. It doesn't look like there's been any heavy rainfall over the earthquake area as well.
Hey Nathan.
Yes.
I have a question.
Yes, and just before you go ahead with that, I would like to point out that you can also post your own questions on the YouTube page as well. Everyone watching at home.
I'll have a look at those if you want to relay them to you.
Yes, I'm just looking now. Philip, go ahead.
Alright.
What was up with all those storms in Australia? I've read an article about it.
Which storms would those be?
There was it was a upper level low earlier this week, and I know Sydney, Australia.
Wales. Jason will know all about that one.
All right. Wait, author.
Sorry.
Nothing. I'm just looking at what he typed right there. But
yeah, there was a storm that affected New South Wales. It went in from the east and affected the area. Did it cause 3 deaths in the end? I'm not sure about that. It caused some disruption now.
Because I know it wasn't like a cyclone wherever.
Yes.
Yeah, cyclone. But I know it wasn't a cyclone. I just found it interesting that happened.
Indeed. Now let me just take a quick look about what's going on with the tornado watches. Let me reiterate, tornado watches are in effect for northern parts of Florida. Oh, they've been discontinued actually. Tornado warnings though still remain in effect for eastern Missouri, southern Illinois, southwestern Indiana, and western Kentucky as well. Those are the areas here marked in yellow towards that central area there, and severe thunderstorm watches in effect for most of those Gulf Coast states, I suppose, extending from central coast of Louisiana all the way to Florida, not too far from Jacksonville into Georgia as well.
I've got a video to share if you're interested.
Oh yes. What video would that be?
It's a video of the Illinois tornado in Rochelle from the April the 9th, 2015. So.
Excellent stuff.
Okay. Do you want to see that then?
Yeah, in just a quick moment, because I should also show Jason's
Oh,
imagery here, showing what the satellite imagery is depicting right now. You can see those storm systems moving through, and I should also point out the radar as well. Let me get the latest radar imagery from Mobile, because that will probably show you the best about what's going on. There it is. You can see the storm systems blowing through. Looks a bit quieter where you are now, Philip. Probably a little bit of rain still falling, yeah?
Mhm.
And the red areas, of course, is obviously the worst, moving through Mobile by the looks of things right now.
Yeah, it's
Do you
making
think they
its
may
way
be?
down the coast.
Do you think they may be delivering hail by any chance?
Um, it's right around the Mobile area. Probably, maybe a quarter size. Not anything significant, but it
Now,
looks
now,
like
what
it
would you
is.
call significant? Any
Like,
hail at all here in the UK is regarded as significant.
significant would probably be mm, not really around me to what do you call it? Like
Go on.
make an analogy out of it, but like baseball size is significant, really.
Baseball sized. That would knock you out, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Daniel, what's on your video?
The tornado.
Very good.
As I said previously, the Rochelle, Illinois. It was just press play.
Devon also reminds us that there are bountiful flood warnings along the Mississippi and Ohio rivers. There is indeed. Pretty much all the way down the Mississippi River. There are flood watches or warnings or whatever, advisories. So there could be significant flooding in those areas, perhaps. But let's take a look at Daniel's video if we can actually see it, can we?
Can you see it?
I can't see a thing.
Oh, let me just. Sorry,
I can see it.
Oh, we saw it just at the last moment. There it
You
is.
see it now? Okay. It's 5 minutes long, so.
And I can't see it again.
Oh,
Are you on full screen?
yeah.
That's a bad idea.
You see it now?
Yeah, you can't do it on full screen.
Oh, that's stupid. Here we go. It's 5 minutes long.
So
So
this
it might
is
not
one
be.
particular tornado. Devon says golf ball-sized hail is typically considered significant. He was, of
Yeah.
course, on Force 13 Extra's game show last night. And just in case anyone would like to get involved in those in future, then you know where to find us. The next one will be on Tuesday, where Devon plays Yanel, and that's going to be rather interesting.
Yeah.
But we've got lots of news to discuss, so we won't be talking much about that this evening.
Imagine seeing this heading towards your house.
Hmm.
It's absolutely terrifying.
Indeed.
Yeah.
We very rarely get tornadoes here.
The ones we do get are usually small and weak.
Yeah. We normally don't get them here this far south in Louisiana, but it's happened before.
No tornado warnings in effect at this time. There have been earlier today. There were some in Florida. And I think Alabama possibly as well. I can't remember. But there were no touchdowns earlier today. There have been several hail reports starting in Texas and eventually moving further east, as you imagine, because the storm systems are moving that way. The latest one being in Pascagoula in Mississippi, reported from North Market Street apparently. That was at 8:51 p.m. our time in the UK, which would have been about 25 minutes ago. And that was 1 3/4 inch, I think, is that? What format is that? Yes. 1.75 inches. There have been several wind reports as well in several locations. A lot of them in Louisiana, actually. In Mandeville.
Mandeville.
I'm not familiar with Louisiana geography.
There's New Orleans, then there's the Lake Pontchartrain.
Yep.
And then we call it the North Shore.
Yep.
On the north of the lake, there Mandeville is there.
Oh right, so that's not too far from you then, is it?
Um,
how much else of the state there is that it could be in.
How much else of the state that's gonna be there in like 100 years?
What are you speculating?
No more Louisiana really
Right.
soon.
Why do you say that? Is there something I don't know here?
You know Louisiana loses a football field of land every minute, right?
Right. And why is that? I mean, I know that the southern part is very low lying. Is it that area?
Um, well, pretty much, yeah. Where all the swamps are in the south, where the Atchafalaya, the Mississippi River, their deltas and basins are, they they're it's subsiding because of the oil when they dig down
Oh,
into
I
the
see.
Gulf.
Yes, that would
It
make sense.
pulls all the stuff from the land and also just natural
You talk,
occurrences.
you're talking about fracking.
And check out that volcanic eruption imagery from Chile, by the way, on Jason's screen. That was a few days ago, wasn't it? How long ago was that now? I can't even tell what day we're on anymore. It wasn't so long ago. But it seems to be quieting down now, the last I heard.
Mm.
Any news from Nepal, we'll deliver it straight away. The latest news we have is that at least 1,000 are dead, possibly more than 1,500, possibly more than that. And as soon as we have any more news, we'll let you know. The US has sent an initial $1 million in humanitarian aid. Look at the sun catching that blue.
It's crazy.
The UK is also sending 8 humanitarian experts to Nepal overnight tonight. And I'll let you know if there's any other news to report. Probably many buildings have been destroyed, many buildings have collapsed. I think one was actually filmed collapsing, wasn't it, Jason? Something that we were looking at before we started the show. And obviously, lots of people are probably injured as well. I think one source probably, I'm not sure about it, but 300,000 injured possibly. I'm not sure about that. Sounds like a hell of a lot. But one of the worst earthquakes in around 80 years in Nepal. Yanel's leaving us now. Thanks for joining us, Yanel, and we'll see you again soon, probably on Tuesday. But is that the latest imagery there, Jason, from Kabuko volcano?
Have there been any incidents with that? The volcano eruption?
Well, I'm not sure.
Fatalities?
Is it still erupting? That's what I want to know. Probably is.
Yeah.
But not as faint plumes of ash, Jason says. So yeah, let me just recap what happened in Nepal today. It was around 6:11 a.m. UTC local time. I think that was 12:11 p.m. somewhere around that time. There have been around 28 aftershocks since then. The earthquake occurred 34 kilometers east-southeast of Lamjung, 58 kilometers north-northeast of Bharatpur, 73 kilometers east of Pokhara, 76 kilometers northwest of Kirtipur, and 77 kilometers northwest of Kathmandu. It was a magnitude 7.8 or 7.9. Some sources are saying both or different ones. Yes, it was local time, 11:41 a.m. local time. It is the most powerful earthquake to hit the region in 81 years. The death toll from the quake, according to this source here, has risen to more than 970 and is rising further, most of them in the Kathmandu Valley. I speculate that it may be possibly double that. The tremors were felt as far afield as Delhi and Dhaka in India and in Bangladesh, respectively. The tremors flattened houses, caused huge craters and cracks in roads in Kathmandu, and sent people running out of their offices and homes. Massive damage to property and infrastructure has been reported. Casualties have also been reported in neighbouring countries. I believe possibly 20 fatalities outside of Nepal, and also at Mount Everest Base Camp there have been either one or a series of avalanches as well, I believe, which have possibly killed 10. I think I saw that earlier today. So obviously there will be a big humanitarian response because it is a huge earthquake that has affected that area. Other information, I'm not seeing anything new yet. Just reiterations of the same stuff.
Is that in regards to the tornadoes or the earthquake?
With the earthquake, yes.
Alright.
As I say, there have been several aftershocks. How many were there now? Let me get a concrete number on that. There have been 27 aftershocks since the initial earthquake, 25 of them in Nepal, 22 of them just over the border in China. And here's the map showing it here on the USGS website. And as you can see, the initial earthquake, the largest one, occurring almost furthest west of all of them, and most of the aftershocks have occurred further east and southeast, and indeed that would have been pretty much right underneath Kathmandu in some cases, and they have ranged from, looking at the numbers on the side there, 4.2, some as high as 5.4. One of the initial aftershocks was 6.6. The second aftershock was 6.6. So a significant situation going on there, and a situation that is still unfolding and could possibly worsen even more yet. Daniel, have you got anything to add?
Not really, no.
Ah.
Sorry. I'll do some research.
That's disappointing.
Well, you've covered pretty much everything.
Alright, fair enough, I usually do.
Yeah.
We're also tracking the severe weather situation in the US. If you have any comments for us, please send them in. I'm just going to check them right now if there have been any more comments. Haven't yet. If you want to report on your local weather in your backyard, please let us know, and I'll relay it out on the chat right now. Please let everyone know about the update as well. That'd be very kind of you.
I found a new article about a person from Britain missing in Nepal.
Yeah, that is.
But you've probably covered that already, haven't you?
No, I haven't actually.
Oh yeah.
It's not surprising, but it's something I've not yet seen.
Yeah. Well, there's not really any what's the word? Any figures or anything to tell. It just says dozens of British travellers and climbers have faded missing.
And I think there were 400 or several hundred people either on Everest or climbing Everest or at base camp when the earthquake struck. And being so high up when the earthquake happened is one thing, but we believe there may have been some avalanches around there as well, so that's obviously another bad situation. Indeed, a lot of the area in Nepal is, of course, mountainous, so people who live in these mountainous areas could possibly have an added danger, especially if it's snowy on their mountains, and not only may we see avalanches of snow, but also avalanches and of rock landslides and whatnot.
Philip's just written something saying there's discussions about a possible subtropical storm in the Atlantic around Florida.
Interesting. Jason's showing us something. Oh, that is an avalanche. Well, there you are. That was an avalanche on Mount Everest by the looks of things. Something I've not seen, and we can't confirm whether this is actual footage. I'm going to have to say this now, aren't I? Because that first one wasn't. So the earthquake in Nepal occurring at around 6:11 a.m. UTC. That was around 11:41 a.m. local time in Nepal. This is at Everest.
What was I going to say on oh yeah, about architecture and earthquakes and stuff. I was reading, I saw something about a building in Japan or something that was able to withstand earthquakes due to the structure of it being centered around like like a cylindrical structure thing.
Right.
I don't know. I'll have a look at it.
I'm not sure either. I'm going to have to investigate this so-called subtropical storm threat in the Atlantic.
Yeah.
I would be surprised, is what I would say. Now, where are we looking here? I'm not seeing much, I have to say. Around Florida, I mean, we've got the severe weather that happened in northern Florida today. There was a tornado warning in northern parts of Florida earlier today. They have been discontinued in the past hour or so. And as soon as there are any other warnings up in force, we'll let you know immediately. Same too if we have any more news coming out of Nepal. As it stands, the tornado watch, though, is in effect for eastern Missouri, southern Illinois, extreme southwestern Indiana, and western Kentucky. We also have severe thunderstorm warnings, severe thunderstorm watches in effect for Louisiana. From where? Not far from Houma, extending eastwards along the coast as far as Florida and Georgia as well, with severe thunderstorm warnings in effect for the area around. It was over Mobile, but I think it's moved east now towards Pensacola in Florida now. So along the border of Alabama and Florida around the coast, we have severe thunderstorm warnings in that area. That is where the severe weather is right now. As a matter of fact, I'll show you. That might help.
I found something. I found what I was looking for. It's the Japanese. They're called pagodas. Do you know what they are? They're like the temple
Right.
things, the old wooden structure things, and it's the design that they're all they've got a layered structure to them, centered around a center pole
Very
thing.
good.
So they don't fall down or anything during earthquakes, which is why they've lasted for so long.
And how long have they lasted? Sorry.
I found one here that still stands, and it was built 1,300 years ago. So,
Right.
obviously done something right there.
Hmm.
I think there might be a demonstration actually of one in an earthquake.
Well, Japan have had earthquakes, haven't they?
Yeah.
I mean, that goes without saying. Here you can see on the radar imagery where the worst of the weather is around the Gulf Coast states at the moment. The red areas, of course, being the worst areas. Marine warnings in effect out at sea there, because you see that red area moving out towards out to sea effectively near Louisiana, and another area, swathe, I suppose, a line of storms moving eastwards in Alabama and moving towards Florida now, Pensacola, northwards. And it's left Phillips area, so that's great news.
Yeah.
He's on mute at the moment. I think that's of his own doing, so we can't hear him, but he did a big thumbs up.
I found a demonstration. It's not a real thing. It's more like an animated. But it gives you an idea of what happens to one during an earthquake. Would you like to see it?
Yeah, sure, go ahead.
Just a second.
Why not? Yeah. In the meantime, I'm going to have to fill for time by saying something. We've got a few other comments. Martinez Julian says, it's sunny in Houston right now, expected to storm on Monday. And Devon says, if I can shine some light on the subject, the shear and cape values for both the GFS and ECMWF don't line up. Highest cape values appear to be over central Alabama. Highest shear were the watches now, referring to the severe thunderstorms at the moment.
Can I show my video?
Bit of a discrepancy. Yes. So that's what it is.
Yeah. You're familiar with them, aren't you?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh. Basically, from the video, they sway. They don't fall.
Interesting.
Yeah.
How do we know what magnitude those tremors are?
I don't know. but they've stood up for so long, so I don't know. What's the highest magnitude earthquake that's ever hit Japan?
Well, of course the one in 2011 was a huge one,
Hmm.
magnitude 9 I think it was. It wasn't
Yeah.
on shore; it was just off the coast. But of course it was a very severe earthquake, and I think significant amounts of damage occurred not too far from the epicenter of the earthquake. I'm not sure if there are any of those buildings there. What are they called again?
Pagodas.
Yeah, any of those pagodas were there. Jason also shows us what's going on as well, or the worst of the weather is right now. So is that current? That was at 8 p.m. UTC. Sorry, 8 p.m. local. So that was some time ago now, just an hour and a half actually. So they've moved a little bit further east since then. You can see a big area of dry air following that, and marked by the yellow areas. So that's moving on east, and no other aftershocks have occurred in Nepal since 6:42 p.m. here. So that's what 3 hours now. There have been no more aftershocks. So that's obviously good news in Nepal. But quite often you can get a lack of aftershocks for a while, and then they start rumbling through again. So the danger is, I suppose, never over for those in Nepal. But the initial biggest shock is past, obviously, and I'm sure they're starting to recover or respond to that as quick as possible. Indeed, lots of international aid is on the way. If you've just joined us, the situation is that a 7.8 or 7.9 earthquake has occurred in Nepal, around was it 77 kilometers from the capital, Kathmandu, and that has caused significant damage. We don't know the full scale of it yet. We believe that over 1,000 people have lost their lives in Nepal, and that there have been several thousands, maybe tens or hundreds of thousands injured. Jason's also showing us what's going on with the volcano there. That's occurred in Chile in the past few days. So even though we don't have any tropical cyclones, which is what Force 13 normally covers, it's been a pretty busy week. So we'll keep you up to date on any more information that comes in. And of course, not only has there been human costs from the earthquake, I said storm then, but of course there's been structural damage, quite a lot of it as well. There's some more images on Jason's screen there.
Devastating.
All I'm reading at the moment is statements released, but no actual concrete information that has come in since we've gone on air, to be honest. So, but as far as we know, there have been probably over 1,000 killed. The US has sent an initial $1 million in humanitarian aid. The UK is sending 8 humanitarian experts overnight who will reach Nepal by morning and will assist authorities there. Oh, there we are. Jet Airways, as a part of our effort to assist affected people in Nepal, we will carry relief material for the next week free of charge. That's obviously good news.
Can an earthquake be predicted or not?
It's
I know
near
they've got
impossible, really, isn't it?
yeah.
Hmm.
I know they've got what they called the things that measure them, the seismic activity. I forgot what they're called.
Yeah, there's Pakistan as well, dispatching 4 C-130 Hercules planes with relief goods to Nepal as well. So there is aid coming in from several places, including countries not so far away, as well as countries further afield. There was an avalanche, at least one avalanche on Everest, and we believe that may have killed 10 people. I'm trying to. I mean, there's been so much news that's come in about that. I've lost the source that actually said that news because I've not actually seen it since, but I did see that somewhere. If you have any news to report as well, we'll try and verify it. Send us messages over the YouTube page right now. We are live, of course. We have no set end time. We'll just call it a day whenever we feel like it, I suppose. Now, Jason, what you're showing us right now on that tweet there, is that the tower that fell? Because there's a tower there that fell as well. I can't remember the name of it, but
It's quite a tricky name.
and it was a quite prominent tourist attraction as well, 9 stories high. Oh, what's Philip showing us? Oh, he's showing us some models here now. That's a low pressure system moving across the Atlantic, forming in the Gulf of Mexico. If you could just pan back once more and show us the start of that development, that'd be rather interesting. Fairly weak system then. Yes, just drag that back. Leaving the Carolinas as a 989 millibar low, but 1004 to begin with, and what's that, 1002 perhaps, after landfall in the Gulf Coast states. And there it is leaving again. So that could possibly be. I'm not seeing that, to be honest. I don't think we'll get anything out of that. Oh, here's a graphic. Jason, I don't know whether you could get a close up on that image. Can you right-click view image? That should make it a bit bigger. But you can see it there anyway. Oh, there's it. Ah, I see. Pretty small actually on that. But yes, millions of people affected, and we possibly thousands dead. We believe it is at least 1,000 at this point. The worst earthquake for 81 years in the area, after an earthquake in 1934, I think killed 8,000. It was a higher magnitude as well. That was magnitude 8.4, I believe. There have been no other earthquakes in the past 3 hours. No more aftershocks, but in total there have been 27 aftershocks so far since the initial quake occurred. It was a magnitude 7.8. Some sources say 7.9. And that occurred at 6:11 a.m. UTC. And since then we've seen 27 aftershocks, ranging from magnitude 4.2 to one of them which was a 6.6. Daniel, do you have anything to add?
Not really, no. Unfortunately.
I seem to be saying that a lot.
Unless you want me to show another video.
Well, not particularly, to be honest. Let me just remind people there is an enhanced severe weather hazard for pretty much the tornado watch area, I suppose. And to remind you, the tornado watch is in effect for eastern Missouri, extending into southern Illinois, southwestern Indiana, and western Kentucky. Also in southern Illinois now, there have been some other advisories that have gone into place, I think. It's slow to load at the moment. Bear with me on that one.
Bear with you.
There's a bear with me, yeah. But yes, we are covering 2 things right now. Of course, the earthquake and the aftermath from that, and the severe weather situation in the US, which isn't so bad at the moment, I suppose, in comparison. We had, I think, 8 tornadoes touching down yesterday, or at least tornado reports. We've had none so far, even though we have had tornado warnings. And I'd like to also report that I think the severe thunderstorm watch has been cancelled for the coast of Louisiana now. Yes, we have a flood advisory in effect for several counties in southern Illinois as well. That's just come into effect not so long ago. Flood advisory just south of Mount Vernon, including Carmi, I think it is.
We have a question from Martinez. Is it Martinez Julian?
I have no idea. You tell me.
It's asking which earthquake is the strongest of this decade.
Of this decade?
In this decade?
I'm sure it would be the Japan earthquake, wouldn't it?
Oh, yeah. Oh, right. Okay, then. There's your answer.
I don't know if I'm missing anything, but I'm sure it's the Japan earthquake. That was
Yeah, it probably is.
Here's just like a feed of images, I suppose, from Jason's screen showing what's gone on in Nepal. Look at that. Any questions for us, we'll do our best to answer. If you have any information for us as well, please send that in also. We'll run on the air for as long as we see fit. I'm not sure how long that will be. When everyone else gets bored, I suppose.
I'll leave when I've got nothing else to provide, which will probably be soon.
Now, there's that building I was talking about, that tower.
Yeah.
Before and after. 9 stories high, I believe. Completely destroyed by the earthquake. We may as well do a quick tropical update as well. The reason why we've not spoken about that for so long is because there's very, very little going on. Just one Invest 91W, that's located in the Western Pacific, near the Micronesian Islands, and as you can see, it's looking pretty disorganized, so we are not yet expecting that to form. That's pretty much it, to be honest. April is the quietest month of the year in the tropical regions, so we're not going to be seeing any more typhoons anytime soon by the looks of things.
Yeah.
Hurricane season, of course, starts in the Atlantic on June the 1st, in the Eastern Pacific on May the 15th. Yeah, the Rara Tower, I believe. I saw it spelled differently when I saw it. But yes, quite thoroughly destroyed. Following the radar imagery, thunderstorms appear to be moving through Alabama, pretty much almost clear of Alabama now, moving into Florida. Well, apart from the bit north of that Florida area. I've no idea what these places are called. Help me.
I thought you were the expert in geography.
Sort of.
Sort of.
I mean, it's passed through Mobile. It's headed towards Pensacola, along the coast of Florida there. But a bit further north as well is still part of Alabama. So, Martinez Julian says, could you compare both the Nepal and the Haiti earthquake based on fatalities, damages, etc.? Well, the Nepal earthquake was a 7.8, and the Haiti earthquake, I believe, that was in 2010, of course, January. I think that was a 7.0, if I remember correctly. I remember tracking that one, well, tracking the aftermath of that one. And that caused lots of fatalities, several thousand, was it hundreds of thousands? It was devastating for Haiti. It really was. For months afterwards, wasn't it? Or, well, yeah, probably. Some places may not even have recovered now. I don't know. It caused huge amounts of damage. I expect Nepal will be somewhat similar, to be quite honest, given its geography, given that it's, I believe that the construction in some places isn't as good as it could be. And we've seen we've heard reports of lots of buildings collapsing already. So, and indeed possibly over 100 fatalities, which probably would have occurred from building collapses. Devon says, I've been watching this one line of storms just north of Carbondale, Illinois. It's just weird. Let me navigate just right there, shall we? I'm just going to head to the radar for that area, which takes a little bit of time on my internet by the looks of things this evening. For some reason, it's slower than normal.
I wonder why that could be.
I've no idea. It's very sluggish. I don't know whether it's the websites or whether it's whatever.
Could be.
But if there's any news that comes in at any point, we'll keep you up to date as soon as I see it. As soon as I know it, you'll know it. Keeping our eyes on the wires for information coming out of Nepal in particular. No significant tornado warnings in effect for anywhere in the US yet, but there is a tornado watch in effect for eastern Missouri, southern Illinois, southwestern Indiana, and the western Kentucky. Yes, I can see the line of storms that Devon is referring to. I'm still in the process of loading it up. So slow. Is this the area? There's Carbondale. Is that what he said? That's right. Just a little flare up, I suppose. And that's, I assume, is moving east. I've not got the loop load actually. That would help by clicking the loop. Let's see how it's been progressing. Yes, moving pretty much due east there, maybe a little bit of south on that actually. Passing just north of Carbondale and heading towards just south of Mount Vernon as well, and headed towards the border with Indiana. Thunderstorms occurring there, and a flood advisory for that area as well, because we could possibly see, I assume, some flash flooding over that area in the next few minutes to hours. Daniel, any comments for us?
On the YouTube page.
No, just from you, really. Yeah.
Not much, I'm
Maybe
afraid.
not.
No.
If anyone else has any questions, it doesn't matter if it's off topic, we'll answer them. In the meantime, I'm busy searching the wires here for any latest news that has come in, but there hasn't been any yet. Uttar Pradesh government has assured all possible help to Nepal in the wake of the devastating earthquake and will send water, food packets and medicines to the Himalayan country. The decision was taken by Uttar Pradesh Chief Minister Akhilesh Yadav to send 10 trucks of mineral water, 10 trucks of biscuits and 1 truck of medicines for help to Nepal tomorrow, a government spokesperson said. And we believe that at least, tentative numbers I know, but at least 1,500 are believed to have been killed in Nepal, and total destruction reported of the Dahara Tower, which you saw not so long ago, and Darbar Square, I believe, as well, in Kathmandu. We also believe that 36 people were killed in India and 200 were injured. That's news from India.
Oh yeah, we got a question from. Oh, it doesn't matter.
What?
From Steve asking when is the hypo contest?
Oh joy.
Honestly.
It's not being branded as a hypo contest. It's being branded as a 2015 Hurricane season prediction contest. Very roundabout way of saying it.
Yeah.
That is online now. It's at the usual spot, force13.com/hypo contest. It's still got that name on it, where you can submit your predictions, and the winning prediction will get animated in May. But that's not what we're discussing this evening. Local time here in the UK, it's 5 minutes to 10. In Nepal, it is... What's the time there? I'm trying to figure it out in my head right now. 5.5 hours ahead, I think they are. Or is it less than that? 4.5 hours from BST, so early morning anyway. 2:40 a.m. I was going to say that. Honestly, Jason, I was going to say that. 3:55 p.m. in Louisiana, where Philip is right now, and he seems to be in the clear for the time being with severe thunderstorms. Anyway, places that aren't in the clear right now are southern parts of Alabama, southern parts of Georgia, particularly in the southwest, and pretty much the whole panhandle area of Florida. Though a severe thunderstorm watch does remain in effect just offshore Louisiana as well, with marine warnings in effect offshore too. Tornado watch in effect for southeastern Missouri, southern Illinois, southwestern Indiana, and western Kentucky at this point. There have been no tornadoes confirmed today after we had several yesterday, though there have been several reports of hail and strong winds. There have been 6 hail reports and several wind reports. There have been some pretty recently as well. Let me go through. There have been 2 reports of strong winds since we went on air. 4 miles east of Frisco City, I'm guessing that's what it means, in Monroe County, Alabama. Large trees down near the town of Excel. That was at around 9:05 our times. That was nearly an hour ago. And just over half an hour ago, we had multiple trees down along Woodacres Road in Baldwin County, 4 miles south of Fairhope in Alabama as well. So a few trees going down there because of the storm front that's going through at this time. But our main focus this evening is on what is going on in Nepal, but we'll obviously keep you up to date on the storm situation as well, because we're covering everything here. If there are any hurricanes active, we'll be covering that as well, but it's a really quiet day, quiet week, I suppose, out there in the world of tropical cyclones. That's what we cover predominantly, Force 13, but we do cover other things like this as well. Thanks for joining us, and if you have any other information for us, then please send it in. In the meantime, not much else going on. I'm still looking out for any more news from Nepal, but that was the latest news from India, which I read out not so long ago. What was it? 36. Hello, Daniel. 36 confirmed dead in parts of India. It is believed that 200 have been injured there, but in Nepal it is believed that 1,500 or more have been killed, mainly around its capital, Kathmandu, which has been significantly affected. Some prominent areas, prominent landmarks have been destroyed by the storm, and humanitarian aid is en route from India from other locations. The US has sent $1 million in humanitarian aid as an initial amount. The UK is sending 8 humanitarian aid experts over, specialists overnight, and other, of course, the aid groups as well are also springing into action too. The most devastating earthquake in 80 years for the area, 81 years since 1934. Spain has also pledged support and assistance. Norway has promised to provide $3.9 million in aid as well. And Israel is sending an aid delegation to Nepal as well, including a team of paramedics and doctors.
We've been on air for an hour now, haven't we?
We have. We've been on air for 1 hour and 1 minute.
Alright. I'm not sure if I should stay on because I haven't really got anything to share.
Never mind, Daniel.
Same here.
Yeah.
Yes. Well, it's entirely up to you guys. We could end the show right here, to be honest, because we have covered most bases.
Yeah, I guess so.
I'm just looking out to see whether there's any other news coming in, but it's pretty slow. So, and there's not much going on in the US right now in terms of severe weather, though we may see some more going on later.
Probably.
A little bit. Might be quite a few hours later when I'm in bed.
Lazy.
I'm lazy. Kidding me. I'm not going to be up at 4 in the morning. Jason also shows us persons per square kilometer by district, and I don't know whether Jason could tamper with that map and provide and put on the earthquake epicenter in relation to that map as well. But you can see Kathmandu in the center there with the biggest population density. There's the epicenter just northwest of Kathmandu. It was a 7.8 magnitude earthquake. Some sources say 7.9. The strongest earthquake in 81 years in the area. And we believed it's killed 1,500. And Devon says the line north of Carbondale just got warned. I better take a look at that pronto. Oh yes, I see it. Still takes ages to load. It looks like a severe thunderstorm warning. Yes. A severe thunderstorm warning in effect for southeastern Franklin County, northern Saline County, Saline, I have no idea, southern Hamilton County, and northeastern Williamson County. These are all in Illinois. Severe thunderstorms are located along a line extending from 9 miles east of Benton to Thompsonville to Johnston City, moving east at 50 miles per hour. 60 mile per hour wind gusts and penny-size hail is what you should expect there. Possibly damage to roofs, siding, and trees. Locations impacted include Harrisburg, El Dorado, Johnston City, Galatia, Thompsonville, Raleigh, Broughton, Muddy, and Macedonia. So that's where we have a severe thunderstorm warning in effect in southern Illinois. Jason, what can you tell us about that volcano? Oh, it's gone. He was just showing us the volcano there, and then it appears that it's crashed on him.
No.
So a severe thunderstorm warning in effect for the area that you're looking at right now on my screen. You can see the red areas appear to be extending further east as well. And there you can see on that latest frame where the warning is. So you can see a little area marked in yellow on this screen where that warning is, in between Carbondale and, is it Carmi? So that's where the severe thunderstorm warning is in effect at this moment in time. Jason's back. Jason, I was going to ask you about the volcano. Do we have any news on that? Any other imagery that we could see on that? We have this. Now you can just about see the ash plume. I think it's the bit that's moving east. Is that right? Philip, thanks for joining us this evening. We'll see you again soon. Philip's leaving us now.
Bye.
Have a good evening.
You too. Bye.
Thanks. See you later. So yeah, I think that's the ash plume moving towards the east. Can't see it crystal clear, but it appears so. I don't know whether you've got any. Yeah. He's confirming that for me with his mouse there. I don't know whether you could show us some previous satellite imagery of what it looked like a few days ago. Actually, I never thought to look at NASA's imagery of what it looked like a few days ago. I'm going to do that right now. But Jason might get there first because I don't know why the internet connection isn't so good for me today. But yes, I think we can see something. Oh, hold on. Well, anyway, you can see Jason's screen there, moving a bit further south actually on that latest image. I'm trying to get my bearings as to where it is. Further south, isn't it? Oh, I see it. I see it. Sorry, I'm just trying to gather my own imagery here. It's a bit difficult, actually. But you can see Jason's imagery there still loading as well. Any questions for us, please send them in. We'll do our best to answer them. We are covering several things at once. We are covering watches and warnings that are in effect right now. But in the meantime, I think we're going to end the show at this point because I think we've got a little bit of a drying up of information. But if conditions warrant a little bit later on, we might have to do an emergency broadcast, but I don't think that's very likely. But that's all from us for now, I think.
Can I just...
yeah, go ahead.
About the Force 13 wiki.
Absolutely.
Okay, yeah, Force 13's got a wiki now, force-13.wikia.com. Feel free to add information to it, but it's unrelated to the actual. It's an unofficial wiki though, so it's not associated with the official website and everything. So it goes unmoderated. So
yeah, indeed.
Try and keep it civil. What you add to the wiki, otherwise there'll be trouble.
Oh, there's some nice imagery from Jason as well. We are also going to be doing a. Oh yes, we're also doing the 2015 hurricane season predictions contest. Visit force-13.com/hypocontest.html for the latest information on that. And to submit your own season prediction. We're doing ones for the Atlantic and the Eastern Pacific this year to be animated in May, just in time for the start of the seasons. I'll leave this running just for a few moments, but I'm not going to speak. But that's effectively the end of this show. Maybe Jason could roll some imagery on or something, unless he'd like to go as well. But I'll leave that up to him. Let me know. But for myself, Nathan Foy, that is all for myself. And I think, Daniel, are you finished here too?
Yeah.
We'll see you again soon then.
Toodles.
Actually, we'll just end the broadcast there. We can also follow us on our social pages in the meantime. Force 13 on Facebook and Twitter. We'll keep you up to date with all the latest information. Until then, we'll speak again soon. Have a good evening.
Toodle pip.